Hey, it's Sharon here from Content Sparks, and in this video I'm going to give you a sneak peek inside our white label course called Start Your Own Freelance Business. Now, as I said, this is white label. That means it's brandable, editable. You can customize it and tailor it to your audience and teach it under your own name and branding. So I'm going to give you a peek inside the different folders that go with the Blaze package. That's the package that comes with student materials, instructor materials, and lead generation materials. There are a couple other options to just get the student materials or just get, which is the Beacon package, or just get the lead gen, which is the Flash. I'll also give you a very quick peek at the upgrade pack, which you will see as an option after you add the course to your cart, and also the bonus that comes when you get both the Blaze package and the upgrade pack. So let's start with the student materials. These are the materials that your students would get, right? So it's everything they need for learning that you'd be giving them as a handout. So we start with the course book. So let me open that up. This is the core of all the learning content that they would need. So all the information, background, activities, key points, all that sort of stuff. And you can see here there's a place to put your logo. You can customize the styles and colors, put your company name and URL in the footer. Change the title. That's what most people do. Change it to something maybe that fits your audience. So if you're working with moms of teens or real estate experts or anyone who would be unique to you, so someone specific you're working with, maybe it's an age group or a certain region of the world, try and put that in your title. So you can see there's a table of contents. It sounds big. You can see there's 85 pages in here, but it's broken down to make it very manageable. So you'll see there are 8 modules. A lot of the modules have little lessons in them to make it very step by step and not overwhelming once people get into it. And then there are graphics that highlight some of the key points in here. And at the end of each module, there are action steps. So you'd see it's all outlined nicely. You get the key takeaways at the end of each module and the action steps as well. So you'll be able to just go through this, read it, make sure you get it, completely understand what's going on before you teach it. Now, I've mentioned action guide. In this particular course, there's more than just an action guide. There's also some different worksheets. So the action guide itself will map right to those same modules. So you'll see that there are worksheets in here, and each one goes with the action steps that I showed you in the course book. In addition, some of these action steps will refer to these separate worksheets. So there's a spreadsheet. Now this one you would need to give people as is. Everything else you convert to a PDF and then people can fill it in because you should never be giving the editable documents. But for a spreadsheet, you're going to need to do that so that they can calculate everything. And this is to help people estimate their startup costs and their monthly business expenses, which of course they're just estimating in the beginning and they can refine over time. But that's what helps them set their minimum hourly rate to cover their expenses, their monthly expenses, and some sort of profit margin. And that they may more than likely have to raise their prices over time as a freelancer as they learn more. Now remember, freelancer is someone who's working for themselves initially, so they keep the business very simple, and that should make it easier to estimate all these expenses. If they use that to kick off a larger business as they go on, this would get a little more complicated, but you want to keep it very simple to start with. Get them up and running quickly. Next up is the estimate template and the invoice template. These are nice, simple templates in Word that you can give to them as a starting point for creating their own invoices and estimates. So when they sign up a client, they're going to need to estimate what the pricing is to create a little proposal. Again, don't make it too complicated. So I would, for you, customize this a bit yourself for your audience and then give it to them to be able to edit. All right. Same with the invoice. This is a simple one for them to be able to bill their clients and get paid, obviously. Then we have the brand blueprint. This is nice, simple blueprint. Even though they're a freelancer and they themselves are the product, they should be looking at their own branding. So they have a vision, purpose, belief, emotional, functional, core, and their core offering. So nice and simple. And if they do decide to hire someone at some point to help them with branding, this serves as a good document. But get them thinking about their branding from the start and keep it simple. And finally, there's a worksheet for an introductory emails, because they're going to be wanting to reach out to potential clients and do some networking, and they need a basic email template to work from. And again, shouldn't be long, shouldn't be complicated. When they reach out to people, they'll add a little personalized note and some information to get a conversation rolling. So that's everything on the action guide and the worksheets. Again, that's the core part of the student materials. There's also a cheat sheet. Now what this is, depending on where you are in the world, you might call this Spark Notes or Cliff Notes, but it's basically an outline of each module in a nice, concise format. So you'll see a lesson will have the key points, key takeaways, and action steps. Module 2, we've got get a handle on your finances. The first lesson, estimate expenses and your rate. Key takeaways, a few key points, action steps. And this is really great for you also to get a thorough understanding of what's covered in the course, so you can see what you might want to edit or add or take out based on your audience. And then when you also teach it, you'll know exactly what's covered. So that cheat sheet is really valuable and people love that. And in the beginning, when you first teach the course, if you decide that you want to keep it bare bones, you don't necessarily want to use the course book right away. You could just use the cheat sheet, do your branding, then edit it, and break it up into short little PDFs. So you could have a video module, and I'll show you the slideshows in a sec, where you talk about, let's see here, the first one is choosing a freelance niche. So you might be talking about that and the action steps, and then just give them the PDF of these 3 pages. All right, so that's just an idea for you. Student materials, everything else is mainly graphics. So the graphics from the course book are in here. We've put all graphics in PowerPoint using Smart Art, though we do give you a version that is not the PowerPoint Smart Art in case you're using a different program like OpenOffice or something like that. We give you it in shapes, but these are very easy to edit in PowerPoint. And they're also the ones in the slides, so you can edit them there too. Let's see, there's also an overview infographic, so that's useful for referring back and also for selling, to tell people what you're going to be covering. So if you did a live stream, say, you could refer to it at the end. Say you did a little live stream using the lead generation materials, which I'll show you. At the end, when you're selling the course, you could use one of these graphics to talk through it. And that is most of the stuff in the student materials. We also give you a document with all the slides in a Word document. So you could edit these based on what changes you've made, or generate them from PowerPoint yourself, and then convert them to a PDF to give to students so they can take notes when they're watching a video, or if you're doing this live. Now let's go back up to the instructor materials now. I mentioned that there's a slideshow, so that is the main part of the instructor materials, because that's what you'll use to do anything live or record a video. So you can see that, again, there's a place for the logo, everything's consistent. You change to your branding. There are a lot of slides in here because there are a lot of modules and lessons. So what I always recommend is you add your branding, make any changes, and then if you're going to be recording video, doing it as separate lessons, which is what I highly, highly recommend. You want to keep it manageable and bite-sized. Then after you've done all your edits, break this up into separate little slideshows. But you can see here we've got things like pros and cons. These are all these things done in Smart Art, so they're easy to edit. You can easily change the colors throughout the presentation for that Smart Art just by going into your Design tab and clicking on the colors and setting up some custom colors of your own that go with your branding, or picking something from PowerPoint itself, from Office, and then it'll change them everywhere in the presentation. So that's just a little tip from PowerPoint. If you're not doing it live, you would take out the slides like questions or debrief. But if you are, you'll want to save something, and you can change any of these images to make it unique to you. And again, follows along with all the modules and lessons and all the same graphics. So keep it all consistent, add your own images wherever you want, break it up. And that is the slideshow. You'll also see those speaker notes underneath. That comes from the course book. And we've also generated these as a handout for yourself so that you can follow along in a document if you prefer and edit that way. They're underneath each slide. So that's the speaker notes in the presentation, but also generated as a handout here in Word. That's something you can do yourself from PowerPoint if you want. It's just an export feature. So you'll see here, and a lot of our customers like to have it in the document and edit it from there. So that's why we provide that. The other things in the instructor materials, you'll see there is an implementation guide I'm not going to open up, but that has more information for you. An evaluation form that you can use to get feedback. You can add that to something like SurveyMonkey. Some follow-up emails to start you off with following up with your students after the course. That's really important to do to keep them engaged, keep your conversation going, keep them implementing what they've learned, and then that'll also keep things open for you to upsell other courses, because they're just starting a freelance business and they're going to need more help from you on things like list building or social media or other low-cost marketing strategies. So you'll want to continue to send emails and tips to them and then offer them other programs to help them with building their business. So we give you 5 as a starting point. There are places to customize, always add your own personal bits. So that's important in there. Research sources are things that we tapped into when we created the program, but you can use them to brush up on your own knowledge, which is why they're in the instructor materials. But a lot of people also like to use it as another freebie, another handout for their students. So consider that as well. And then there are some other things in here, including a list of all the contents you're getting, this PDF. And this is really helpful because it gives you another overview, and a lot of people use this when they're putting together their sales page copy. So that gives you your own overview. Now, the last folder with the Blaze package is the lead generation materials. I briefly mentioned that there is an opt-in report and a slideshow that goes with it. So you could run a live stream or webinar to be selling your course. And this just gets people started out, just the 5 steps to starting their freelance business. So it's just the basics that get them off to a start, and then they're going to want more help. So they can try and do everything on their own, but ideally they'll make the most progress if they sign up for your course. So you're giving them value, getting them started, and then they'll trust you and want to work with you. Or they might try and start on their own for a bit and then get frustrated and come back because they get off track. So that's the main report. We also give you that in that cheat sheet format, the outline format, which is a nice extra handout. And that's a particularly good handout to give to people if you use the slideshow that goes with the report, because you can run this as some sort of live stream or webinar. And then for people who stay to the end, you would just give them that handout. Also, because the report is broken up with next steps on each thing, you could do this as mini live streams. So there are 5 steps in here, and you can do it as 5 mini live streams over the course of several days. So you keep people engaged that way and get even more conversations going. And then at the very end, you'll want to add some stuff about your course. So if you're just doing it as a video, you might just have your sales page link. If you do it as a live substitute and maybe use that overview infographic to discuss your course and tell them how they can learn more and really get off to a faster start. So those are your main lead magnets in there, or lead magnet content. You'll then, once somebody's opted in, you'll want to send them emails. So there are 7 in here. One for doing a download link, if they are downloading something, and you would just edit this if you're, say, doing a webinar, to give them their registration link. Or, regardless, if it's a video series, you'd put in a video link and just tweak that. And then there are several emails to get, again, conversation, relationship building, giving value. There's a little bit in each email to build that trust and get them going, and then you'll tell them about your course. So that's the lead gen, lead magnet, email follow-ups, and then there are some blog posts and other things you can use to get more traffic to your opt-in report, to your sales page. So there are 5 blog posts to get you started here. Edit them, especially with blog posts, you're going to want to add a bit more, maybe make it into an infographic, add some other images, definitely change the title and subtitles, add more about your audience, some other examples. Do a little more customization on these because you are going to publish them out on the web, so you want to get traffic to it. And a lot of our customers like to use these also for live stream scripts or video scripts. So don't think of them just as blog posts. Infographic goes along with the opt-in report and webinar, slideshows, so you could use it in conjunction with that or publish it. And finally, there are social media posts in here, and these are all, let me open that up for you so you can see. These are different things you can use, obviously, as social media posts. That's what they're called. But you could use them in other ways. So use them as idea starters for emails, or for live streams, or for blog posts even, or for conversation starters in your group, because some of them are questions. And if you are using them on social media where there's a limit on characters, it will automatically count it for you here. So that is everything in the Blaze package. I talked about the student materials, instructor materials, and lead generation materials. Again, those 3 folders you'll get in the Blaze package. If you only want the student materials, you need to get the Beacon package. If you only want the lead generation materials, get the Flash. Now, the last things I want to show you are the upgrade pack and the bonus that you can get when you get the Blaze package and the upgrade. The upgrade pack you'll see after you've added the main course to your cart. And the biggest thing in here that I love are the module quizzes. So we give you quiz questions that go with each module and each lesson. And if you're using an online course platform to deliver your course, which you'll want to do at some point, even if you start out doing it live as webinars, you can load these up in whatever system you're using. Like we use Teachable, and there's always a quiz function. And you can put these in at the end of each module, and it just builds engagement. People can check whether they've really understood what's going on. And some people even use these quizzes as conversation points in their Facebook groups. So they don't necessarily put it in a quiz platform. They start having conversations and break it up over time, especially if you're dripping out the course over time. So those are the module quizzes, and there's also this Trello board, which just everybody loves. They love a good Trello board. The Trello is a free program that you can sign up for. We give you a link to a board we've created that follows along with the action guide in the course, so that your students can make a copy of it as their own and then track their progress. So people love being able to check off that they've done things, and all the action steps are in here. So it's like a digital version of your action guide. So you sign up for free for Trello, you make a copy of this and brand it, and then you share your own link with your students. That's the way this would work. And they can use it again in the future too, and you could use it again. And finally, that bonus is sales page copy. So when you get around to selling your course. So maybe you're building your audience first using the lead generation materials. When you get to selling it, you can use this sales page copy as your starting point for your sales page. We've left a lot of placeholders to guide you with making sure your page reflects you and your audience so that you can make it unique. So there's places to tell your story and some questions to get your creativity going there, places to add testimonials, audience details, things like that. So that's a useful thing to get. And that, I believe, is everything. So student materials, instructor materials, lead generation materials for the Blaze package. Look out for the upgrade pack and grab those quizzes and Trello board. And then you will also get the sales page copy along with that. And please do let us know if you have any questions at all. We are at support@contentsparks.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Enjoy and let me know how it goes with your new course. Take care now.